So guys, I recently started playing this computer game. It's called Starfield. And I have been playing it using XPass. And while downloading it,
Xbox Game Pass.
I have noticed the weirdest things and I wanted to share it with you and have your opinions.
Okay.
What kind of weird things?
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna share it. That's what I'm doing right now. So it's 130 gigabytes big.
Oh my god.
Wait. My... Huh?
How did we get here? Like, because when I was younger, computer games came in CDs, and sometimes when the game is particularly big, it came in multiple CDs. Then computer games started coming in DVDs, but like still, a larger game would be like 2 DVDs, and when you unpack it, it became like 20 gigabytes or so because it was very big. How did we get to 130 gigabytes of download requirement from there?
Well, that's a great question because...
Do you also remember the floppy disks?
No, I wasn't.
Oh.
We're not even talking about that.
NS called you old.
We are not even talking about that.
Yeah, like my oldest computer, the last desktop computer I used actually accepted floppy disks. But I think I have not used a floppy disk since middle school. But I never purchased the software in a floppy disk. I'm not that old.
I have not either. I don't...
Yeah, we are not that old.
I think you're inserting yourself into conversation right now, NS. You might be that old.
NS is like a floppy disk.
You're the old man of the podcast. Yes, even though we are both older than you.
No, but our spirit is younger. I am still full of wonder to the world. Like, for example, I am seriously wondering how their games become so big on the recent years.
Not only games became that big. Every app is getting bigger and bigger and like...
Why is that? What do you guys think about this?
I thought Izal was saying something.
Yeah, I thought that too. Izal say things.
But I can also add that like... Why is Photoshop 3 or 4 gigabytes now? Like it used to be 500 megabytes.
I mean, I understand that. Like for Adobe programs at least.
Also, you're saying that Starfield is over 100 gigabytes.
Yes.
But I'm remembering that back when you guys were playing World of Warcraft, when I also wanted to play the game was almost the same size as my computer.
Okay, look.
Okay.
I will not let a single bit of dust fall onto World of Warcraft. Especially the time you are referring to, the time of World of Warcraft you are referring to.
2016.
This is a bit of a tangent, but I want to just say, World of Warcraft is a marvel of engineering because it came as an online game in a time where internet connections wasn't as strong, and like when World of Warcraft came, cloud storage wasn't a thing. Just let that sink in for a bit. Like they launched this huge online game without there being something called cloud storage, and what they did was basically they tried to minimize the amount of online interaction computers would do, so that everything that can happen in a game would be stored in your computer, and with online commands you would just be unpacking the boxes that are already in your computer.
Okay.
That's the reason why World of Warcraft has to be. Also, World of Warcraft had this horrible memory management problem. When new patches came, old patch contents that are no longer used aren't garbage collected. So when you do a fresh install, it's usually smaller than what you came after a few patches. So
my fresh install was 100 gigabytes.
And every single bit of it was worth it. I am certain.
Quite literally bit.
Yeah, probably, but I wasn't good at the game. But that's out of topic.
That's not World of Warcraft's fault.
Well, I mean, the thing is, this is becoming more of an issue because like World of Warcraft is a huge online game with like huge several continents and open world, right? And like Starfield is about like exploring a whole galaxy with
more or less.
so many planets and so many places you can go to. And like I encountered this with like I started playing Baldur's Gate 3, which is also a huge install size. It's like 150 gigabytes, but that also has like 3 whole open worlds and an insane amount of like characters you can interact with, all of them completely voiced, etc. Like those I get. Like no, I still don't get. I think it's still atrocious, but like I can at least see some justification for it that they didn't hone in on that as much, you know. But what is the excuse for NBA 2K4, a basketball game that releases yearly, to be 160 gigabytes? Was the whole court worth that? Like, what is the point there?
Like what you are saying is if you actually put 1 megabyte on every inch squared of a court, I'm saying inch squared because basketball is an American game, it would still be smaller than the size. That's what you are saying, right?
Like, I mean, I am just saying something has gone horribly wrong here that for these games to demand this much space from you.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's almost like softwares are trying to say only use me, don't use the other ones. They are too big anyway.
Yes. I mean, you're saying like how you're talking about the old games requiring sometimes like 2 DVDs, and that feels like such a quaint concept. But there was like recently the news of, I think, second Final Fantasy VII game, which is a whole title on itself, but it's requiring multiple Blu-rays on consoles. Like this is out of hand. Even for those who live like in the US where these download sizes and storage sizes aren't that much of a problem, it is going out of hand. For us, it is way beyond out of hand.
I mean, I agree with you because I often find myself wondering, like, let's forget about games. What makes games? What are the thoughts of people behind games? That's a whole other topic. But let's focus on software. Softwares are a softer topic. Like let's use Adobe programs, for example. You are saying that it was to be 500 megabytes and now it's 4 gigabytes. That's like 4 gigabytes is still that still doesn't sound very big to me, but let's take it as big. Does it really deserve that extra 3.5 gigabytes of space? Do you think the improvements they made to it justify that expense?
Actually, for me, it doesn't, because I'm not really good at Photoshop, and currently
You think a different software if you want. Like I said Photoshop because you said Photoshop.
especially I want to talk about Photoshop because I only use a really small set of tools in Photoshop, and also on top of that, some of these tools are not they're cloud computing tools. With the new versions, they have introduced the neural.
Some of the AI tools.
Yes, what was they called? Yeah, neural filters, right?
Content neural filters as also generative
field. Yes, that's on the beta, and it doesn't matter. Like I use that, and it doesn't even compute on my computer. It just does it on the cloud and gives me the results. So as I'm looking at my storage list, I see that I have 3 different Photoshops installed. Each is more than 5 gigabytes.
Ooh.
Wow.
Like, I guess for me, like overall with this storage problem is not just like if I can store it in my computer or if I can buy a storage solution in the cloud. It's more like how long I can keep up with this, how long I can continue to pay for storage in the cloud or continue to upgrade my computer. Because from every time when I upgrade anything, that means migrating documents to a new place or like taking them and placing them basically. And it's such a hideous thing. And I end up doing not a great job at it because I'm not a really structured person in storing things anyway. And things get lost on the way. So, and that's why like I generally think when as the softwares and as the file formats get bigger and bigger, including games, I generally don't know how to cope with it in the long run. That's kind of the biggest question that I have in my head as I was listening to you guys. Because I don't know if I can actually like have these documents at the end, maybe in 10 years or so, because I generally think they will be either lost or I will lose the access because I'm not able to record or just the cloud storage is gone. I don't know. You know, like because I'm not technically owning it. I'm renting a storage space basically. And that kind of scares me, being totally depending on that.
I have a different take on this than you. Actually, Deniz made me realize this. Like, when I'm buying a device, making it have more space with hardware is more expensive than renting the space on a cloud.
I assume that's true in all cases, but also some people do feel safer with their own hardware and their own storage that they own.
I think there's a little aspect of this. And you see, I can very easily get behind the type of person who would say, I had a childbirth and I have these pictures and video of the childbirth. I mean, maybe that too. And I want to keep this forever because that's the sort of person I am. And for such a person would use storage space, but like how much of your computer is filled with childbirth videos and how much of it is filled with software? Like if you want to keep your childbirth very close to your heart, you can easily do whatever you want with it. But most of my storage space is occupied by software and games. And most of the games aren't World of Warcraft, and I feel nothing for them. I can just reinstall them whenever I want.
Dear listeners, please post on our social media how much of your storage is filled with childbirth videos.
No.
Most of my computer is filled with this podcast files. Are they considered as childbirth videos because like we are creating
this is our child?
I mean, like I said, I am not saying that
this podcast is our child.
This podcast, which is my child, is, let me see what it is, 40 gigabytes in my computer. Like the 2% of my computer is childbirth videos. Well, childbirth audio files, not really voice
Audio
recordings.
files.
Childbirth voice recordings.
Just screaming and pushing.
Childbirth ASMR.
Yeah, but
Oh no.
It was so bad.
Mine is 80 gigabytes.
I have very little emotion for the rest of it though. Rest of my computer is just like almost half of my storage is filled with stuff that I don't use directly, but I have to install anyway in order to use the stuff I want to use.
Ooh, those were the things I hated the most back when I had an Android phone, and all to make my games work, I needed to have Google Play Store services, and it was bigger than the games I wanted to play. Sorry, that's the little tangent.
I'm not even talking about that. What I'm saying is 500 megabyte large. Like let's go back to the childbirth video. I use Audition, Adobe Audition in order to edit the files for this podcast.
Mhm.
Along with my friend Enes, who also I don't know Enes. You use Audition as well, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
because you're sending me audition file. There is no other way of.
Usually there are importers. Like you can use the thing with the shark face.
Yeah, but
as
like, I won't trust them anyway.
I mean, yeah, I wouldn't trust them either, but you can do it if you want.
I don't support that.
So what I'm saying is I use Audition while editing podcast, and I use like 3 or 4 commands. Like I cut and the select over time and shift delete. That's the type of editing I do.
So you could say you're an expert.
I am the grandmaster of Audition, but there are so many other things in the Audition. Like sometimes I accidentally stumble onto very weird mods and stuff you can do. Those probably occupy space too, but I'm not using them. I am only using some of the very simple utilities.
Same thing I said with Photoshop.
Yeah. Audition, that is full package, is like very big. But I am only using like 10% of Audition. But the other 90% is occupying space in my computer as well. That was what I was talking about when I said there's this extra space.
This reminded me of a program that we use at work. I mean, I'm not using it. I mean, my friends in the work uses it. SolidWorks. SolidWorks has some patches.
Colleague, are you saying?
No, colleague, yeah. Anyway, he uses like when we were buying the software because we bought it for him. So they bought it the base model, the base version. So there's no extra, how we call it, like DLC packages.
I think DLC still applies there, even though SolidWorks is not a game.
Yeah.
It is downloadable content.
And it's, yeah.
Yes. Like whenever I ask him, oh, you have SolidWorks, maybe you should calculate the static of the thing that we are producing. So he says, no, I can't because I have only the base model, a base version. So this, like maybe some of the apps, like I think they already have, some of the apps have some extensions, not extensions, extendable parts, DLCs, downloadable contents that you can put. So maybe but
There.
but Photoshop is not something like that. Yeah, you need the whole package. I mean, maybe for Audition, I'm not sure. But,
Why would I need the whole package of Photoshop?
but like, I think if you can just split up the program.
I wish there was a
You wish?
Photoshop Rush version. Like the Premiere Rush and Premiere Pro.
So they have already made a light version for the light users.
They are doing it. I think there is like a trend overall in Adobe, like just to create a little bit lighter, or it was for phones too. I think it kind of came together to make it more easy for the user, like for general user or lay user, not unprofessional. I don't know what the correct word would be. But I don't really think they do it because of the storage. I don't think that's the main reason behind it. It's more to create a larger market space for any user to access it. And yeah.
Can I let the cynic in me make an assumption? I think it's more so that these softwares, especially because they like start to sell these with subscription models, they keep adding features that are like quote unquote features that compound them and make them a bloatware. So that now for the minimal end user that's not going to need like 90% of those. They're just throwing out like a light version and being like, hey, you can use this now because it functions and it doesn't demand all of your memory and storage.
Yeah, I think you're right. Definitely.
Can I tell a little story? It
Of
has
course.
very little to do with storage itself, but there was this guy in my university while I was doing the undergrad studies in the electronical engineering. And he told the story about some device they bought for the department. It was this microwave measurement device. And he said the device had two possible ways to buy. Like there's this base version and then there's this upgraded version which can measure slightly better. Like it can measure up to higher frequencies. And they bought the base version, but a few years passed and it turns out they actually needed the higher version, so they wanted to purchase the upgrade. You can't purchase the upgrade after you bought the thing and somebody comes and installs it, that kind of thing.
Oh.
And they did that. Somebody came and he says, I probably told you the story before. Somebody came.
I remember.
The person opened the case and they flipped the switch. They shut down the case and they moved on.
Oh no!
I mean,
Like the upgrade that you paid to get was already installed on the device. You just needed to flip a switch.
I mean, they do this a lot in the games too, with like day one DLC stuff. Like if you buy those stuff, if you buy the like DLC, when you download it, like you bought the DLC, it downloads like half of a megabyte thing that just unlocks the thing that you already downloaded. So that's all another deal.
Stellaris does this in the most shameless way possible because in the game called Stellaris, it is a real-time strategy game with different. It's set in space and there's different alien civilizations, and with DLCs you can build different kind of civilizations. Like I think building a robotic civilization was DLC.
Yes,
that kind of thing. But even without DLC, AI sometimes spawns robots civilizations. So you don't have access to DLC content, but the AI does.
Yes.
That's the most horrible way you can do it.
I think Age of Empires 3 is also doing that.
Oh yeah, we don't have access to some of the nations, but the nations can fight against us. So clearly the files are there.
Also, Age of Empires 3 Definitive Edition is also a really large game. But go on.
Okay, compared to the
You're right. It is.
regular game. I mean, it's just slightly better, I guess. But like I said, games is a whole other thing. But
yeah.
Back to the storage, I think Elif raised a very interesting question. When she said the stuff is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And what happens is, I get curious because the iPhones keep getting improved. And when they improve an iPhone, usually what they improve is the camera.
Yeah.
And when they increase the camera size, the file size becomes bigger with the photo. So like you, I am wondering, where is this going? Like they build bigger storage and they build bigger files. So the amount of file you can store in the bigger storage is about the same. Isn't that kind of ridiculous?
Exactly. It feels more like a trap than an actual innovation or actual improvement that was done on the item itself. Like, of course, I want to have a better quality and want to look at the zoom in and see all the pimples that I have on my face. But eventually, again, it's really not tangible. Like in the long run, there is nothing changed. I'm still stuck with the same kind of storage, like you said. I generally don't know what will be the end of it all. And I kind of understand what Isa said too, like cloud storage subscriptions tend to be cheaper then continue trying to update the hardware. And also like hardware can break. That happened to me a lot. Or when you switch between different ecosystems from, let's say, Mac to, I don't know, like Windows or vice versa, those storage systems are usually not really compatible with each other. So that creates another problem. Where in the cloud, link sharing and general allowance access, decline access, these things allow to work in different ways a little bit easier. Even though I think photo share on iPhone or like Apple general photo sharing links, when you try to open it on a Windows, is horrendous. It takes so long. It's so slow. But that's another topic.
Cloud on web is
And
bad.
I think Windows Apple incompatibility is a whole topic on its own too.
Yeah.
Can I add one thing? Very funny one thing. With the iCloud photo sharing links. One time Apple f***ed up so bad that when you logged in, you would see someone else's photos, not your photos.
Oh, that's bad.
I was gonna complain about the fact that I needed to beep that, but I think that's
That deserves it. That deserves it.
no, vulgarity is the appropriate response here.
Yeah. Apple messing up other people's privacy never happened before.
That's what that word was invented to convey, I think. So
Yeah, but I guess like as someone who recently this happened 2 times already with my computer, when it's broken or when you cannot really access your hardware anymore, it's really, I always thought like I should have put everything into cloud, like have it in 2 spaces would have been the good solution for my behalf, because I used to have this Mac computer and then I had to switch to a Windows overall. I've been using that for 10 years and it was just dated. And I had this one giant, like 5 terabyte, I don't know, like for me it was giant hardware.
5 terabytes is very large for everybody. Like it's a very, for personal usage, it's still huge.
Exactly. Like I have this storage space basically, and everything was on it, but it was compatible with the Mac. And when I tried to just see the files on my new Windows computer, I couldn't access it. And this created like a whole new problem. So in that sense, I totally agree with you, Zach, with like having a cloud storage can definitely, in the long run, maybe, I'm not sure if it's in the long run a good solution, because as time passes, you accumulate more things, and that means you need more storage. And I don't really think we have a lot of like minimalism culture that much, or like an etiquette or leading and storing digital things yet. Like if I were to picture the things that I'm hoarding, basically, of my storage, in a physical way, like, and place them, like if each item that I had was a pebble of stone, I think it would be quite some heavy stone pile that I have just accumulating in the corner, or maybe a room. So it's really hard to want to stuff, and I kind of want to look at Enes here too. But yeah,
I think we should explore digital hoarding at another episode, because I have a folder full of top posts automatically downloaded from Reddit's funny pages. So
Can I tell a quick story? When I was doing...
Is this going to be the title of the episode?
No, but hear me out. Last week, I was presenting my thesis in an event that is generally called not a very successful presentation. But before that, I was talking with one of my supervisors. basically I was saying I haven't, like, this is something that can be done, but this was not within the scope of this thesis, and some other thing not within the scope of thesis. And he said, but what is on the scope of this thesis? So far, we have been saying this thing like, this is another topic, this is another topic. People are gonna maybe start saying, yeah, but what is this topic then?
The topic is basically everything is getting larger and you cannot store things. That's the problem. Like,
Well,
that's what she said, maybe, but
God damn it.
That's the title. Like the problem here is
Why not? That's
things
what
are
he
getting
said.
really
Let's be inclusive.
I know.
He may say things are getting bigger too.
But yeah, like it's just getting larger and bigger all the time. I don't know.
Not better.
You have to delete it. Like you have to delete it eventually. Like for me, every time when I play,
Well, this is something that just I was thinking while if you were saying, because you were talking about like how you're like with iPhone, every storage, like every model storage gets bigger, but also file sizes gets bigger in the turn, and like you feel like you are spending the same percentage of storage on those. But
Exactly.
then like we brought up like cloud storage, and like the ones like on iPhone, the ones selling you the cloud storage is also Apple. So this is not storage solution. This is like a pyramid scheme.
exactly,
Like-
exactly.
It's more of a vicious cycle than a pyramid scheme, but yes.
Also,
Yeah.
after a really long time, Apple introduced two new tiers to their iCloud storage plan. That they now have I think 5 terabytes and 10 terabytes of cloud storage plans.
Oh wow.
I have a question. What happens when you stop paying for your storage? Does your file get deleted?
Yeah, that's a good question because
You can't access it. That's what happens. You can't open it up.
But is it still there?
I think they should only allow you to download at once.
So once you download it, they get deleted. Is that how it is?
But I think they give you a time to download all.
I had a personal experience with that. I was using like iCloud storage for my phone back in the day, and because my phone was an old iPhone, I didn't have a lot of space, but I just put everything into the iCloud, and they were kind of matched with my computer. So my computer storage and my phone, they were all the same. Eventually, I ran out of space in iCloud. So it had told me to either delete it or upgrade it into a better program. And I didn't do that. But time passes, things get more accumulated. And eventually what happened was I wasn't able to open the files on my phone and my computer and the older ones. So like that, and I wasn't able to put new things on it. And when I upgraded, I was granted an access to my own photos. That's how was it for me. But I panicked and I upgraded it because I was scared that I will lose it. So maybe there's a timeout. I don't know.
There's actually a word for it. There's actually a word for prohibiting access to your own content behind a paywall. It's called ransomware.
yes.
I can't say it's illegal, but I think it fits the ethical conduct of Apple very accurately. Izal.
But it should apply to Google Drive as well. Like it won't be
Google
special for
Drive
Apple.
simply doesn't upload when you run out of space. Like you try to upload
No.
something and Google says, no, you don't have any space.
I
you
think
can't upload this.
Apple also doesn't allow to upload anything when you are out of space.
The problem here is it doesn't allow you to upload, but when you were paying for the thing that there are you have uploaded more things. It's so hard to talk about this.
That's what he
I
said.
don't think that you can do that.
What?
All I know is I remember when I was signing up for the 2 terabyte. Was it 1 terabyte? Some terabytes of Google Drive storage. It was said that if you don't pay it, it deletes after 30 days.
I'm okay with this. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary.
So you'll get extra 1 month. So you can get 1 month of free space without paying it.
Exactly.
I wouldn't say it's free space because you probably can't upload
Yeah.
it. You can just download it.
But still free space.
Unethical life hacks.
I need to talk with
Yeah,
my
but
dealer and
wait,
get the money quickly so that I can.
This is not. Maybe we wouldn't put this on the show itself, but when I was paying for Adobe Creative Cloud and it was the same price as today, but 2 years ago, it was more money than it is today, and I wouldn't have enough money on my credit card to pay for it, so it would give me a few days to pay for it. So each month I would push it a few days later, my payment date, and it just kept being pushed.
That suddenly became an esnaf.
I mean, think about it. If you save like 3 days each month, that's like a month in a year. Like, that's genius.
Yes. I'm not sure if it actually does that, but I think it does.
I mean, what it should do is he should charge you for those days that you haven't paid for earlier, and like it should, when you pay, it should charge you for the 3 days before as well. That's what it should do, but I don't know if that's what it does.
Nah, they're not gonna care about that.
Let me check my payment history, and if
That's too much work. They're not gonna deal with that.
Meanwhile, maybe we can now move to Enes after teasing him for a bit.
Yeah.
The audience is very excited to hear about you, Enes.
Yes. Like my problem with I'm not like all of you. Like I don't really play that much games. Like I have some games on my computer, but I don't have anything on my phone. Like I only had some of the games that my friends did, but now
thank you.
now I don't even have them. So
Enes is a cool person. He's partying all over the
Yes.
place, so he doesn't bother with computer games like us children. Please continue.
You guys
even
play
though I don't
games?
have mobile, yeah, do you guys? Yeah. Even though I don't have games on my phone, also I don't really like that much of apps. That like whenever some website offers me to download this app, I don't download it. I use Safari. I use browser.
Suck it, that website.
I even use I don't even like mobile version of the websites. I really like desktop sites. I made the settings and I browse on my phone as a desktop, in desktop version. Like I'm the first generation. I really like the reasoning of the web in the first generation of iPhone. Anyway.
No, this is so fun to me because you really came the whole circle, NS. From website to apps to websites.
So as a person who doesn't have that much app on their phone, I don't still have I also use cloud space for my photos as well. I also need to say that I don't have space on my phone, and I don't really get it. Like today, I was checking, I was offloading some of the apps, but those are not that much. I already have some of the only the necessary apps on my phone, and documents on the apps are not that huge. like only on WhatsApp and maybe I don't even know. Only on WhatsApp and music there were some documents and a little bit huge documents, large documents that I have. But other than that, I don't really have a thing on my phone, and I still don't have space. So that's that. I mean, we come to conclusion that apps are huge now. And, right? Yeah, I mean,
Getting larger
that's
and
not
larger,
nice.
some might say.
So, like,
Oh
as a person
no.
who really like the light phone, like I still have a iPhone SE second version, and with 64 gigabytes, and it's enough for me. Like I don't need any more processing power. I don't need a better camera for a phone. So I don't want to upgrade my phone just for the storage.
That's okay, Enes. We will protect you from the Apple thugs who come to your house so that you would upgrade your phone. But if things get really rough, Enes, we can maybe get you one of those Apple 13, iPhone 13 cases so that you can put your phone inside those cases too.
Oh no.
For the Apple thugs who are trying to sell you a higher phone.
Like, I'm in a
it was saying that it doesn't work with the phones that have the home button. Unfortunately.
Oh,
Oh,
Enes,
Mm.
you're in a bad situation. Apple thugs are gonna get you.
Also, like I'm in a like currently I'm in a state that I can't I can't even update my phone because there is no enough space to download the updates. Like I had it like when I had 16 gigabytes of storage on my phone. Like when it was like my phone storage was 16 gigabytes, I had this issue. But now with 64 gigabytes, like where are we going now? Like we are like some of the phones are 1 terabyte, I guess.
Mhm.
Why do you need that?
You have to
I can't
carry
well, I don't.
a tiny computer.
I mean, it is my understanding that sometimes people use their phones for stupid things like gaming. And
Also, I think another thing is being a short form video content creator.
Yeah, true. True.
But I
Yeah.
think the main reason is people don't have a
A
computer
desktop. Yeah.
or they don't use computers that much.
Yeah.
They only use their phones.
I
now.
have friends that don't have personal computers.
I mean, what
I mean-
does is it the one who lives in Leburgas?
And she doesn't live there, but yes.
Yes, because I am a software writer type of person. I'm a coder. Enes is a designer. Izel is a designer. Binali and Elif maybe don't need a personal computer as much as us three do because it's an integral part of what we do. But the friend she's referring to, her job does not require using a computer at all. Even if she did use a computer, she'd probably use like the lightest version of possible computer because I don't think she does a lot of computer-oriented activity.
She has a work computer, but she doesn't have a personal computer.
Oh yeah, that's a thing too. Some people don't spend their entire days on a computer.
She's a remote worker. Of course she has a computer. But some people don't use computers out of the work they are doing. Like she also has a smart TV, so she does her watching things on the TV.
Yeah, that's a weird behavior.
I'm browsing on internet on phone.
Now upgrade your TV to 1 terabyte. No, not terabyte.
Telebyte. Television.
TV byte.
Since it's a television, it's telebyte. Fun.
Yes.
Okay, if we aired all our grievances about storage, I'm gonna go and spend the rest of my day installing Starfield.
Oh yes, you have finally seen the light and you are stopping ridiculous Baldur's Gate fed and you are playing the actual game that is good. I fully support your decision.
Well, I'm gonna play both.
Obviously, you'll be playing it tomorrow because 130 gigabytes is huge.
Yes, I was not kidding when I said I'm spending rest of the day installing it.
And by the way, Mr. Monopoly Man, let me ask you, have you purchased Starfield or are you just going to play by Game Pass?
Oh, Game Pass. I'm not crazy. It's let me tell you the price of Starfield. It's more than 1,000 liras. Yes.
It's very
1,150.
Yeah, it's like, what is it, $30? Something like that. About $40, I think.
It's $40, yes.
That's still dirt cheap for that game by 1,100 liras is very expensive, but $30 is dirt cheap.
Yes.
This is one of those rare occasions where the games aren't expensive, we are poor.
Yes. Oh, it is cheaper on Steam.
How cheaper?
900. I mean, I bought Baldur's Gate at 800, so...
Because you're a wealthy Monopoly man with $signed bags.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We are in conclusion, and we would like all of your feedback on our social platforms. You can find us on Instagram at inconclusion_podcast, on Threads at with the same handle name, on Twitter, or if you're that person, X _inconclusion_, and on LinkedIn as Inconclusion. Also, on Reddit, we have a subreddit, r/inconclusion podcast. Please find us on your favorite platform and tell us what you thought about this episode. Bye.